Good afternoon and welcome to America's Home Cooking. I'm making mixed fruits in a light syrup. And I'm going to can it because during the holidays I like to make these, I call them fruit cocktails, but they're canned. They used to have them with cherries, grapefruit, and oranges, and you could buy it in the store during the holidays. I don't see it anymore in the store, so I don't know if they still have it or maybe specialty stores still do it. But this one I'm making is a whole pineapple, 4 barlett pears, and about this many cherries because the cherries are out. So I want to make mine with cherries, pears, and pineapples and see how they come out. Now I'm bringing to a boil right now 2 1/4 cups sugar with 5 1/4 cups water. And this is a light syrup that I'm going to put it in. And that's what I'm waiting for this to come to a boil. When it comes to a boil, I will be putting the pineapple and the pear in and let them heat through. I already have my jars in hot water here, and I'm using pint jars. I'm not using quart jars. So when this comes to a boil, I'll start packing it up. But that's where I'm at. I figured you didn't need to see me peeling pears and corn, okay, and taking care of the pineapple. I left the core of the pineapple out, as well as the core of the pears. The seeds I'm leaving in because they would say just wash them and pack them. I also like to pack them in brandy because they're a real treat. So I want to get some more cherries next week and pack them in brandy, and I think that'll be delicious. And that is great with desserts. Okay? So right now we're at this point, and I have to wait till this boils, then you'll see how I put everything together. Okay, the syrup is boiling, so we're going to put the pineapple and the pears in to heat them through. And the pieces are about like this. Okay, that's the size the pieces are. I can show you up close, see? Now they want me heat the fruit through, and because they both have to be heated through, I'll go ahead and do these. Now the cherries, they don't recommend doing that too. We're just going to pour the hot syrup over them after we pack the jars. So this is going to simmer a little bit, and I'll be back because there's nothing we can really do right now. I've had the jars already in hot water. It's very hot. Have the lids and the rims already done. I have everything that I need for the canning right now, so we just have to wait. Now, once this comes to a boil, and I've got these pieces are bigger, they're going to heat up, then I'm going to add my cherries. I don't want the cherries to fall apart, so I'm first going to start heating these up. And then I'll add the cherries. I'll heat the whole fruit through, and then we'll be packing. This has got to come to a boil first. Okay, it's boiling, so now I'm going to add my cherries to it. Mix them up. Let me put the bowl here. My sink is full. Bring it back to a boil. I think I put in about 1.5 to 2 cups of cherries. I'll just bring this back to a boil, and we'll start getting ready to can it. Okay, I'm going to check the fruit. It's been boiling for about 2 minutes now. Oh yeah. It's definitely turning the syrup a different color. The pineapples should be tender by now. Oh yeah. So we'll turn this off. And definitely get packing the jars. Put the lid on it while I do the jars. Now I'm going to move this over here because we're going to cook it at the same time. to live out in the country and live in the city, if you wish to can, best time to can is when you start finding things on sale and as it comes into the season. And then just start. In a cool place anywhere, the range has to be from 50 to 70 degrees and they will stay sealed. Alright, let me get a spoon and we'll start Now, if you wish to make the fruit cocktail like you get in the store that you buy, you can do that if you wish. Or you can just mix fruits up. I took pears and pineapples and cherries and I figured I'll just try them this time and see how they come out. I always heat up more jars than I need because I have always been found myself short of jars when I'm canning. So if they say 5, I'll do 7. Whatever they say, because they're estimated, they're not exact. If I find some nice peaches, I'd like to make some more brandy peaches. Those are delicious. When you make brandy peaches, you have to let them set these fruits and things because they have to sit and get all the syrup into them. You let those brandy peaches sit till the holidays. Oh my God, are you in such a treat? You just serve them in a small bowl with the syrup and the brandy. It is so delicious. This one's a little packed. Try to get these in. People tell me they have a lot of beer recipes. You know how to cook with beer, but I like using it in canning and liquors. They're so nice for dessert. They just make it extra special. And yes, it's very hot. You can do these into quart jars, but I just rather do them this way. Just trying to get the last fruits in. Now, when you do a fruit cocktail like what you get in a can, you're going to have to dice your fruit a lot smaller than what I've done. I left mine more in chunks. Okay, now I need, I could use a ladle, but I'll use a measuring cup. We need a 1/2 inch headspace. did want to add kiwi to this, but I just don't think the kiwi will survive with the cooking time that I have to do. But I was tempted. Now you have to debubble this to get the air pockets out of it. And you'll notice that the fluid will drop. Fluid level will drop. Don't worry about it. You know, everybody has cakes and pies and cookies, but me and the holidays, the fruit cocktails are my real. I'll make the desserts. Don't think I won't. But this is what I like. And my mother used to put shredded coconut over it and pecans. Pecans in the South are more popular than walnuts. I started cooking up here and I came up here. I was always buying pecans, and my husband said, get the walnuts. And I said, why pecans? And he said, well, they use walnuts up north. And I said, okay. But I went back to my pecans. Anyway, you sit there and you open one of these and you put the fruit in a jar, in a bowl, a small bowl. Then you sit there and put some shredded coconut on it, sprinkles of pecans, and then you pour some of the syrup over it. And it's really a nice little treat to have. Some of my fond memories during the holidays. My mother would buy the fruit cocktail because she got out of canning. So we didn't get it. Jesus Christ, that's hot. Okay. Now we're gonna wipe the rims with vinegar because you don't want anything to stick to them. I should measure and make sure this is a ½ inch. Hold on. But my grandmother canned. Oh my God, she canned all the time. She sent food to us all the time. ½ inch. Wait, that's a ½ inch. That's a ½ inch. This is a ½ inch. This is not a ½ inch either. Now, what am I going to do with this leftover syrup that I'm not using? I am going to cool it, and I'm going to feed the plants with it because they love sugar. So there'll be no waste of the syrup that I have left in here. But they didn't tell me how many jars I would be making, so I just didn't know. But once again, I used 1 pineapple, about 2 cups of cherries, 1½ to 2 cups of cherries. And I used 4 garlic pears, and I peeled and cored the pineapple as well as the pears. The cherries I just rinsed off, and that was it. So if you want to make the fruit cocktail in the store, just remember you're going to have to take the fruit that they put in theirs, and you're going to have to dice it smaller. Then you can actually make your own homemade fruit cocktail instead of buying it in the store. Okay, for his. Just do finger tight And do not push that bubble you see in the middle on the lids. Your jars seal after you pull them out. It's been 24 hours. It'll be sucked in, and that tells you your jars are sealed. So do not push that bubble down. It's standing upright until the jar is sealed. And remember, if they do not seal, you have to put them in the refrigerator and use them. Okay, we are going to bring this to a very royal boil, as I know it. I don't know it as old. When it gets there, then we will time it. So I'll be back as soon as that's really boiling to the point where we have to clock it. Sorry, I forgot to tell you, the vinegar you have left, throw into your pot. Keep your jars nice and clean. I almost forgot that stage. Okay, you see how the steam is coming out? That's how you want your pot to look. And we process this. For pints, we're going to process 20 minutes. If you're making quarts, you process for 25 minutes. Okay? We'll see them when they're done. Now, on a side note, I don't want to waste this pineapple. So what I did was I chunked the core up, and I scrubbed the outside of the pineapple, and I cut it in pieces here. What I'm going to do is I am going to cook this down, make a juice out of it, and then what I'm going to do is when I go to serve it, before I serve it, I will heat it up and put an orange or slice or two that I've dehydrated, and I will add it into it and then let it cool, and you can have it as a nice drink. Since we're going to have warm days this weekend, I thought this would be nice to have with whatever I decide to cook. So I will be simmering this for hours because I want to cook all of this out. And of course I'll sweeten to taste, but right now I want to cook this up. Then when I'm done cooking this, I'll put slices of lemon in it that I have dehydrated and let it sit overnight. By tomorrow morning, this should be very nice. I'm going to find a place for the stove. Object of canning and stuff like this is to utilize as much of the food as you can without any waste. Okay, it's been 20 minutes. We'll check and see how they are. Be very careful because this water stays very, very hot. A fruit cocktail. I think it's nice. You can mix different fruits and make your own fruit cocktail, different kinds. I do the whole spring and summer into autumn. Usually every Friday I do some sort of canning. But when the slaughterhouses start, which I know the season for that. That's when I start canning meals and putting them in a jar. Because that's a good time to get it because the slaughterhouses and the meat prices are really moving at that point. and you can get some good deals. So, in the winter, if there's snow and all that bad weather, you just go into the pantry and just decide what are we going to eat. It's all right there. So that's one way of making a fruit cocktail. Now you could use different fruits. I plan to make some other ones in a different combination and see how they come out. But I know my favorite one, especially at Christmas, is grapefruit oranges and maraschino cherries. Take care and have a lovely evening.